Hello, everyone. This is Wendy from the Indigo Doors, just reaching out to you on this beautiful day, June 24th, um, around, what is it, 1 o'clock, to share with you some messages from Spirit. They wanted to kind of send their blessings and love and energy in regards to just recognizing what's happening within our country for sure, but also just on the planet in general. I was planning on doing this video anyways because the celestial event that's occurring today, where we're recognizing and seeing all of the planets. We can see 5 planets with our visible eye today, and 2 other planets that we can't see with our visible eye that are still here, kind of within our awareness, within our visual like sky, right? Our reality. So I was always kind of sharing what Spirit wanted you guys to know in regards to this painting today, because it is today that we're kind of really feeling the effects of these planets, and it's very vital, partly because of the distress and the anxiety that is being felt around the country today, at least. And everyone's kind of feeling that. And there's fear and there's anxiety in regards to that. So I just want to offer you this transmission in regards to creating peace and just centering yourself and just kind of seeing this kind of bird's eye view of what potentially is happening. So breathe, right? Center yourself. They're here now. So really trusting the space that we're creating energetically. I've shared this painting a few days ago in regards to this event, and just channeling the messages that are coming in very clearly about the transformation that's taking place. Anytime planets are aligning like this, and we call this a conjunction, like a meeting of the minds, let's say, it's always just kind of like a catalyst or a lot of energy, kind of pushing us forward and transforming us truly. And so everyone's going to feel this a little bit differently. If you haven't been able to sleep, it's partly because of this. And just getting a lot of messages and a lot of things are happening. So this, every time I'm painting, I'm just intuitively guided to paint whatever. And then afterwards, my brain gets involved and my spirit guides, we kind of create the story, not story, but messages in regards to the symbolism of everything, right? They kind of tell me why they had me do this, and why I chose those colors and why I chose that positioning and whatnot. So you can see here, so this image is kind of holding the energy of this transformation that's happening right now. And just to be aware, the 2 planets that are not visible to our naked eye, so not necessarily in our consciousness, but in energies that are affecting us maybe subconsciously or ethereally, are Uranus and Neptune. And I'll talk to you about where they are. So if you're looking at the painting here, you can see this middle circle is kind of what we're experiencing, or what the human experience is. And then they're really wanting us to kind of branch out of that into this other world where this tree and this path exists, and there's this other way of being. And really just honoring this experience of transformation and what that feels like for the human. We're all very aware of what that feels like today, what that can feel like, the uncertainty of change, not understanding where we might be going, and the fear associated with that. They really want to kind of hold us within this energy of peace and staying strong within that, and love conquering. Though it might not seem that way right now, but keep choosing love, keep choosing peace. So it's almost like if this inner circle here within this picture is, we have Venus, Mercury, we have the moon here in the center, we have Mars, and we have Jupiter just right here on the edge of the circle. And then we have Saturn right on the outskirts of the painting here on the right. That's Saturn. Neptune would kind of be shown in between where, well, kind of where we are. So kind of more on the outskirts. When I say we are, I mean in the northern hemisphere of the United States. And then Uranus is somewhere here within the circle. So Uranus is kind of an important planet because, and I say it subconsciously because it is the planet that is like the disruptor, or in some ways it is the outlier. It's kind of like Uranus kind of explains or holds the energy of extremes. And we're all feeling that, but it also holds the energy of breakthroughs or breakdowns. It's limitless though, so it's kind of really thinking outside of the box. It's kind of like the mad scientist of the planets, meaning it's the one that kind of is the outlier. And that's kind of energetically kind of holding the circle here. But how we're going to feel that from a human perspective is Venus, which means it's going to affect our relationships. Mercury is, we're really being challenged within our belief systems in our thinking space. The moon is dead center here in the circle, so what's happening is really affecting our emotions and our intuition. It's kind of like our intuition is dead center, and it's kind of like what's kind of where we're being asked to really go, trusting this other space. Mars is the planet of action. It's the fiery planet, so in some ways it's a call to action. So there's that energy, how we're being seen here. And then Jupiter, it is the planet of luck, and it is the one planet that's, in some ways, if it's symbolic, is kind of holding us in between this human experience and what they're offering outside of this human experience. And I'll get to that in a second. But as far as how we're experiencing this major transformation during this conjunction is, right, this kind of these polarities are really being seen. Things are coming to the surface, right? And we can all feel that. It is coming to the surface. There are these extremes, like planet Uranus or whatever, however you want to say it, right? There is that influence here of really seeing these extremes, right? And how that's affecting us personally. And you can see, obviously, this is the one area in the painting that's black, meaning we're in the dark a little bit. But if you see to the left here, towards this tree, and we'll get to this tree, it is a lot lighter. So it's kind of shifting, right? We're shifting, and it really is representative of this. And you know, Jupiter being on the outside here, and kind of linking it is really trusting, and it's Jupiter here. All of them are connected to each other, and I'll talk about that too. But Jupiter is connected here to Saturn. And Saturn is this kind of the authority, is the responsible one. It's the morals. It's doing what's right. It's the maturity. It's the wise one. So in a way, Saturn is here kind of influencing this whole circle. So, and it is kind of orbiting it. So it's really like we're being asked in all of these regards, in our relationships, in our thinking, in our feelings, in our actions. Are they aligned with our wise self, right? Are they aligned with the responsible self, right? And where parts of ourselves are not, we're really seeing it. Now, Spirit's saying that we're seeing it individually and externally, obviously, within our culture, and bigger picture things, like big things like race, obviously, gun control, abortion. All of these things are being, the extremes of this are really coming to the surface, because we have parts of our culture, parts of humanity that really need these feelings, and these belief systems really do need to come to the surface. We really need to look at them. So in that way, it is offering us things that might not align with the wise self, with the responsible self, or the higher self. They need to come to the surface, so we can really look at who's really in charge here. What kind of systems do we have? Are they aligned with love? Are they aligned with equality? Are they aligned with just, you know, justice for all, for the righteous of all, the love of all. And so in that way, where belief systems or systems of functioning or political systems or even judicial systems or whatever, are they functioning that way? And that's really what's being called to. So on a bigger picture, we can see this very obviously, but from an internal or individual perspective, this is also happening. So in this way, it's very hard in these moments to not look outside of ourselves and say, hey, how can we make a difference and how can we make change or how can we impact it? But for the moment, just for the moment, let's focus in on you and what's going on with you, because individually, this is also happening. There are parts of yourself in your own internal being that are coming to the surface, asking for the same kind of maturity and responsibility or wise things, saying like parts of ourselves that might not be wise, right? Parts of ourselves that might be immature, or parts of ourselves that might be unjust or unkind or in the dark, right? Or selfish or any of those things. And there's no judgment. These things are all coming to the surface. It can impact your relationships. It could be your belief systems. Everything is being asked to have balance and peace. That is the nature of things, is finding balance. So in this way, we are creating balance by bringing things to the surface within your own life. So this is happening individually, and then it's happening obviously culturally because it's happening internally with us, right? What came first? I don't know, right? That's a philosophy question. It's more about staying in your lane and focusing also what's going on with you personally. But here's the thing, what's rotating around this experience that we're having within our own darkness, right? Within our own personal darkness, is that this luck piece is circling this, meaning everything is beautifully aligned to this rhythm of perfection. And I know that's hard to experience sometimes or feel, especially when we're in the dark, but they assure me that all is well, and this is part of how we experience change. Because you can see this alignment of planets are really offering this blue skies. You can see it in these colors, and even how we experience in this reality these green trees, right? How we experience them as green. And you can see almost the relationship between the center of these planets together are creating these triangles. So it's this reiteration of 3. So moving from polarity of 2 to opposing polarity, uniting the 2, moving to a 3. So whenever we have a 3, it's almost this creative energy of creating something new from polarity, right? You can see it in the base of a triangle. So what do we do with 2 opposing things? How do we find solutions when we have 2 opposing views, right? We come together, we love these parts together equally, and then we can create a solution for all. And even out within ourselves, how do we, I want to quit my job, I want to stay in my job, or I love him or her, but I also want to leave. Like, how do you resolve that conflict within you, right? So that usually takes time and awareness of how you really feel and your wants and needs, right? And where you want to go, where do you want to go, the head of the arrow, where do you want to go? So these partnerships or these relationships between the planets are creating this light. So you can see it's like a partnership from Venus, which is relationships, to your intuition, really trusting how you really feel, right? And your relationship with Mercury, your mind, right? So there's all these clues in this painting, like how do you resolve, but there's all your parts. So it's like, then also you have your relationships with your intuition and your belief systems, and then also your relationships with your action, they're all related, all parts of it to create this balance, right? Like, you can't just sit here and want love, but then we never act in a loving way, right? There's always all of these parts need to have an expression. And and you can see how it creates this light, this beautiful light within this painting, these integration of these parts. So in a way, they're saying these planets are here. It's a consciousness of not only of our being, of the I am presence, but also, if we can take that even a step further, of creating an awareness of our awareness of other sentient beings that are outside of the planet, like here, supporting us and loving us. It's just like we think it's all just about us and our own human experience, and we're like, oh yeah, I guess other people are affected by us. It's the same kind of way, and then we affect the culture, the planet, and the planet's affecting other planets. It's just it's a consciousness of just being aware of this infinite expansion of awareness, right? Just as it can come infinitely internal, it can go infinitely out. So it's very exciting because in a way they're saying, hey, we're here. We're here in support. We've done this. We've been through wars. We've been through genocide. We've been through all of these things. And we know where you're headed. Keep choosing love, keep choosing integration, and you're going to get there. And in fact, there's no doubt that we're going to get there. This is, in fact, just evidence of the change and the transformation that's taken place. And that doesn't mean that it's going to be uncomfortable. And it doesn't mean that there's not going to be conflict. Of course, there's going to be uncomfortable anytime we move into any area of our own lives. Even personally, that's new. It's a little uncomfortable, even if it's the best thing for us. Brand new job, promotion. Let's say you're president of this new company. It's going to be uncomfortable, new situation, new people, right? In a way, they're saying all of these energies are new, and so there is this uncomfortable, but trust that all your needs are met and everything is possible. Trust in yourself that you will choose love. If you're choosing love and you're emanating that and you empower others to do the same, eventually there's going to be enough frequency on the planet where everyone will choose love, regardless of what you're being shown, right? It's kind of like having that maturity, that Saturn energy of the maturity and the wisdom of knowing just because I shut my eyes or there's moments of darkness doesn't mean that light's not going to return. Right? It's just having that wisdom of, yes, this too shall pass. But there's so much more going on than we realize. There is this river of abundance that's kind of flowing through here, that's moving into this tree. This tree is magical. This tree is offering, like, the trees are here, right? Even the planet's sitting here and is aware of what's going on. And it is sustenance, meaning it is here to help us to create balance. So in this way, not getting so caught up in this space and moving outside of, letting go of control, and really, if you have to, really feel like there's just peace, right? Like there's nothing, if you don't know what to do, then you create peace for yourself and you choose love if you don't know what to do. If you're in a position of power where you can make change in a loving way that's the best for all of humanity, then we pray for you and we hold that light, right? Not all of us are in that position, so we hold the light for those that are. This is kind of speaking of this other world, of this beautiful energy of interconnectedness, right? Saturn saying, and is over here on the right side of this painting, hovering above these mountains. And you can see these mountains look old. These mountains look a little, they look big, right? So in a way, we're in mountains represent belief systems, right? So we're really looking at and transitioning some major belief systems within our cultures, right? Ways of thinking, ways of being. But it really is, you can see this is a very colorful transition, colorful connection, colorful partnership, this Saturn piece with all these other ones, to where it's affecting our identity, it's affecting our relationships, and it's affecting our security, of course, right? But look at the purple that it's creating. It's healing. Everything's going to be okay. Coming from this human experience and asking us to step a little bit outside of the circle, not necessarily, we can't deny that this is happening, right? This circle is happening. This human experience and how we're experiencing that is happening. There's nothing, we can't avoid it, right? But just become aware of, maybe, or just step back sometimes and say, hey, I'm going to move outside of that and recognize that there's this bigger picture going on, and I'm going to trust in that. They're saying that there's these symbols that are coming out of this human experience. So there's, I'm just trying to minimize this screen so I can see this. There's these symbols. So again, the number 3, right? The number 3 that's coming out of the circle. And we have this eye, so really trusting, being open to the possibilities. If you really think something bad is going to happen, something bad's going to happen, no matter if something really does or not. It's like it's our filter. Why not be open to the possibility that a brand new solution can be created, something outside of what we've known? You know, I just posted yesterday about how limiting our brain is, and how our brain literally is programmed by the input. So only based off of experience or something that we've read, right? So it's kind of like it's our past experience or something that we've read that we're putting into our brain. It does not have the capacity to be open to something it has never experienced. It takes practice. It is our hearts, and it's our third eye, and it's our crown that allows for frequencies and even ideas that are outside of our brain's input to come in. So in this way, we're being asked to really surrender to something we might not have experienced yet, right? Maybe things aren't what we seem, and buying into the fear, even within our own lives, like even in our own, buying into, well, no one's ever graduated college in my family, so I'm not going to, right? We have to be open to this possibility that it's possible. And that's all they're saying, be open to the possibility. That's with this third eye, but it's also a triangle in here. Be very open-minded, where whatever you're holding on to, whatever you're thinking reality is, that's what you're helping create. So even if there's uncertainty, because there's definitely uncertainty right now, right? Just allowing and being open to the possibility that we might not know where we're going, and we might not like where we're at right now. Where could we go from here? Let's create the possibility that we're going somewhere beautiful. Now, you might not even think that's possible, and I want to challenge you a little bit. Why not? Why can't it be possible? Remember, things aren't always what they seem. You don't literally know all of the parts that are at play. It's impossible. If you're not in a position to make impact or change, you can energetically, by holding the frequency or seeing everyone's higher selves, understanding and having the wisdom to make that change, that are in those positions to do so. Now, if you feel called to act, then you act, right? There is an action piece in here, even for yourself. Do you want to create a life of happiness? Are you open to the possibility? Are you open to the ideas that are coming in, right? And then are you acting on them? And that, you know, they say choose love or fear. Are your actions, are your thoughts, are they aligned with love? Are they aligned in fear? Or we get to choose. You can choose fear. There really is no judgment. It's all about, we get to experience I am. We get to create whatever we want. But this is how it works. You could choose that. You can. What I'm saying and what Spirit's saying, coming through in this message, is like just being open to the possibility. and staying open, being very open-minded. In this way, just kind of participating in this experiment where we get to choose. I personally want to choose a reality where we're creating beautiful solutions without violence, right? And now we're seeing the polarity and maybe opposed belief systems or opposed energies that are against, let's say, solutions, which I'm glad that we get to see those parts, right? We get to love them. This other symbol over here that's part of this healing water that's coming from this human experience is this sacred geometry form of this new thing. And they're telling me that it's something that is outside of where we are right now. It's outside of, it's kind of like telling, it's like telling an 18-year-old that in 4 years, let's say, or 5 years, they're going to be married, they're going to have a full-time job, and they might have a kid on the way. Like there's no way for that 18-year-old to even conceptualize what that is like. In this same way, that's what they're saying. They're saying like it's something that we can't even truly comprehend, but it definitely is. Everything's changing. Our systems of functioning are changing. They say it's a fundamental system of functioning. There's lots of different things that are shifting. It's our political system. It's our, they're telling me this right now, it's our medical system. It's our educational system. Everything is shifting fundamentally, and it needs to. It doesn't work for the new human, for the aware human, for the human being that chooses love. It doesn't work because it needs to allow for like this unity consciousness that we are all connected. And we're moving out of the haves and have-nots to where everyone, the possibility that everyone can be abundant. And in that system, in that frequency, a new system is meant to be born. And everyone that's been here on the planet, everyone that's been seated, and everyone that has come in with more awareness, right? That's why you're here. You're here to create this new system. Isn't that empowering? Isn't that exciting? And we have to see the devastation. We have to see what these systems have been doing for centuries. That has been happening, whether we have been looking at it or not, right? And now we're really seeing it. So yeah, it's tumultuous. Seeing that kind of fear, seeing that kind of violence is never an easy thing. And so in that way, they send us so much love and compassion. And they say, we've been there, we know. And I hope that you can feel them. There's so much more happening. The planet is changing. The planet is shifting into these new frequencies. And with that is this change, is this transformation. But as these planets unite and kind of come together to support us in our awareness, they send so much love. So on these days or during this week, when all of these huge changes are shown to us politically, right? At the same week, that's also when this beautiful planet conjunction is happening. So in that way, you can see the serendipity of this, right? And the beauty of it. And how there is this other reality that they knew that this was coming. And they say, fear not, all is well. Keep choosing love, solutions that unite the people. They're here. These solutions are here. It might be outside of where we're thinking now, but just staying open. And it's not easy. It is easy to feel the fear and be like, man, I really hope there's no violence. And man, these school shootings are terrible and all of these things. Not alone. Let's love each other and choose things that allow for unity. right? That makes sense, and change the systems that don't make sense. So we have much work to do. Much love to everybody. I hope this helped on this beautiful day, in this day of transformation, in this day of uncertainty. I send love to you all, and we'll talk again soon. Thank you. Namaste.